Hello, everyone. Today, I'd first like to share an important update regarding Dunsparce and Drampa's release schedule, and then I'll go over some changes to the Patreon offerings. Dunsparce and Drampa is making the unfortunate but necessary decision to reduce the podcast release schedule to every other week, as opposed to weekly. You may have noticed that the weekly release schedule has become increasingly inconsistent as of lately, and the majority of reasons why have been very normal, ordinary life things like high wind taking out the power, or someone getting sick, or surprise work commitments, or just having a bad day and not being in the mood to play, which are all perfectly valid and normal things to happen. I know for myself personally, and perhaps for Kira and the players, when the release schedule gets right on top of the play sessions as it is currently, I start to become stressed when we have to cancel play sessions for very normal reasons because I don't want to let down you all, the listeners. Even though I know that you're all very understanding, it's just a difficult mental block. That kind of compounds, and I tend to scramble to put things together or rush through sessions that overall results in gameplay that I am less happy with and puts unnecessary pressure on the players. I think part of what makes the podcast so special is that it is not mine or the players' jobs or careers, but 5 friends at a virtual table having fun playing a game. And I think that the relaxed vibe is what makes the Quacko Packo so special and relatable. When the crunch starts because of super ordinary life happenings, I feel, at least on my end, as the DM, that the magic of the table of friends just having fun begins to fade away as we pressure ourselves to meet deadlines. So starting May 2023 and moving forward, we will be releasing our episodes bi-weekly or every other Tuesday. We sincerely appreciate your understanding as we strive to keep the podcast true to its semi-casual spirit and to keep the roleplay as authentic, comfortable, and low stress as possible. As a result, I think the group of us will be happier and healthier, and the podcast will become more authentic as a result. Of course, if we were full-time role players like Critical Role or Dimension 20 or other tables, we would avoid making dramatic changes to release schedules, but again, I believe so much of the creativity and authenticity of the Paco comes from the fact that we really are just some friends playing a game, looking to share it with whoever might be interested, so thank you so much for understanding. Regarding the Patreon, and as a reminder to all, Dunsparce and Drampa will never run ads in the content itself. For 1, ads can just be annoying, and 2, because of the source material that we have modified for the gameplay, monetizing the content via ads enters kind of a foggy legal area that we have no interest in exploring for several reasons, one of which being, again, the campaign is not our full-time jobs. I'd like to remind everyone to view the Patreon not as a pay gate to the content, with main releases serving as a free trial. That's not how it is at all. Current patrons would tell you that's not how it is. Rather, I would suggest its primary function is to allow these excessively generous listeners the ability to donate to the operations and distribution of the podcast in order to keep it running and get a little behind-the-scenes access as a result. I say it every episode, but we all truly cannot thank the patrons enough for their support. It is what makes everything possible, and we are so grateful. Because our release schedule is changing, we've decided that it's reasonable to adjust what happens on Patreon as well. Starting in the first week of May, the Patreon tiers will reduce in cost from $5, $10, and $25 down to $3, $7, and $20 respectively. While post-show discussions will naturally be less frequent, we want to reduce the financial impact on our current generous patrons giving their support, as well as help entice anyone who's interested in the behind-the-scenes content to join for less of a cost. Additionally, while we are adjusting our release schedule, we are looking to maintain our weekly play schedule as much as we can, allowing ourselves somewhat of a release buffer so that we aren't playing the session the day before it releases like we have been, also giving Kira some breathing room as well for editing. This ideally means that if everything goes according to plan with these changes, and we are able to get caught up with regular sessions again in a few weeks, then episodes will likely start being edited a good week or two before they are released. We are looking to increase the value of patrons by offering these edited episodes to all tiers of patrons a certain amount of time before they are released on the main series. The length of time is currently undecided and dependent on editing schedule, but we want to try it out, so we are planning on it. Unedited episodes will continue to be exclusive to Tier 3 patrons and will always be uploaded right as they are played. Since the regular releases will be spaced out an additional week, we are expecting to increase the value of Tier 3 even more than it already has been, as more unedited episodes will populate before the main releases catch up. I'd like to remind everyone that contributing to Patreon is completely voluntary, and the content on there will never go away. So even if you're late to the party, there's oodles of post-show discussions and behind-the-scenes content you're able to catch up on. If it's not realistic for you to support in this way, please do not stress your finances to do so, as just by listening and sharing the podcast with your friends, you are directly supporting this fun project of ours, and we truly cannot thank you enough. Once again, I'd like to thank you so much for supporting us on this journey and bearing with us as we make this big adjustment in favor of our health and the quality of the podcast. If you have any questions or comments, or you just want to come say hi to me or the players, please reach out to us either on Twitter at DunsparceCast or at the Calyrex Game Corner Discord server at discord.gg/Calyrex. Calyrex is spelled Calyrex. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey, and we can't wait to share our next release with you.